Good morning, all of you. Since few weeks, I think since 3 weeks, we are studying certain basics of homeopathic materia medica, and in that we are studying different ways of study of homeopathic materia medica. So far, I have taught you 4 important methods of study of materia medica. That is anatomical schematic method, keynote method, picture method, therapeutic method, and comparative method of study of homeopathic materia medica. And I hope you have understood it. If you have any difficulty, please let me know. And also, these lectures are also uploaded on the YouTube channel of HMC Academics. Please subscribe that channel, like the video, and share the video so that the maximum students will get benefit of it. And you also again and again repeatedly see those videos, because it is just like a notes for you, or it is just like a study material. So today we'll start with one more method, that is physiological method of homeopathic materia medica. In the science and philosophy, we have understood that there is a trinity of philosophy of homeopathic materia medica, that is dynamic, individualization, and totality of symptom. So in this dynamic, so while studying this philosophy of homeopathic materia medica is a dynamic one we have studied, that in the initial part of in the evolution of homeopathic materia medica, it is very clear that there were 2 groups in the homeopathic field. That one group was satisfied by studying the materia medica, which is proved on the basis of administration of crude drugs. And then later on, after the introduction of theory of drug dynamization, the whole scenario in the field of materia medica has changed, and there are few schools of materia medica which gives more importance to that materia medica, to which the drugs are proved in a dynamic way, or in which provers the medicines are administered in a dynamic way. So this physiological method of study of homeopathic materia medica belongs to that very earlier days of study of homeopathic materia medica, which is mainly based upon study of crude, not non-dynamized drugs administered to the prover. This method, as the name suggests, it is what? Physiology. You must have well versed with this term physiology. Physiology means normal. Physiology means the science which deals with the various functions of the body. And the objective of this method is, after administration of homeopathic drug, at what level this physiology is getting affected, and how the drugs administered react at the physiological level. This is the objective of this physiological method of study. And this study is mainly introduced by Dr. William Burt, and later on was popularized by Dr. Cooper and Dr. Copperwhite. So 3 names means in the example there are 3 books of this physiological methods of study of homeopathic materia medica. Remember this, that this method was introduced by William Burt, and later on is popularized by Dr. Cooper and Dr. Copperwhite, and mainly focusing on the action of crude drugs on the physiology of human being. Then what is the method details of this physiological materia medica, or the physiological method of study of materia medica? Now this method details or deals with. We have seen in the anatomical schematic method under the various headings of part of the body, materia medica is narrated. And in this method, there is some kind of grouping of remedies under various sphere of action. Now, let me explain you what is the meaning of this term sphere of action. So, sphere of action means it is the part of the body where the action of medicine is prominently seen. I am again repeating, the term meaning of the sphere of action means it is an area, it is a part of the body where the action of homeopathic medicine is seen to its maximum. And so according to this sphere of action, the drugs are grouped. So in this physiological materia medica, the drugs are grouped under depending upon their sphere of action, like pneumogastric nerve, drugs acting on the pneumogastric nerves. Few examples are anti-influid, arsenic, etc. Then drugs acting on the mucus group. Now, this pneumogastric nerve is old terminology. In our recent modern books of physiology, this pneumogastric nerve is nothing but the vagus nerve. And this vagus nerve, as we know, it supplies mainly to the various viscerals. And all those viscera are mostly supplied by this vagus nerve. So it is the old terminology for that vagus nerve. It is a pneumogastric nerve. I am not going into the details, but you remember this is pneumogastric nerve is nothing but the vagus nerve. Then drugs acting on the mucous membrane. Then there are some drugs like pulsatilla, allium cepa, euphrasia, calibicromicum. They are acting more, or their sphere of action is more on the mucous membrane of various organs. Then one more group is serous group. Serous groups means the drugs acting on the serous membranes of the various parts of body. So one example of serous membrane is what? Peritoneum, then pleura, pericardium. So these are three basic examples of serous membrane. And there are some drugs which are acting more on such kinds of organ like bryonia, rhododendron, rustox, senna, SENNA. So, and there is one more group I will explain you, that is skin group. That means remedies having prominent sphere of action on the skin like graphitis, petroleum, sulfur, mesothelium, etc. So, what is that? How the materia medica is described? That the sphere of action, according to the sphere of action, the various groups of remedies are first created, and then these groups of remedies are further described. These groups are not further described, but in the introductory part of this physiological method of study of materia medica by William Burt. So he has listed the medicines acting on this specific sphere of action. So this is one part of this book. And then second part deals with the remedy description, or remedy description of a single medicine. And this is mainly seen under two headings. So if you open the medicine arnica, that arnica you will find there are two headings. One is the sphere of action, and below that it is characteristics of arnica montana. I will demonstrate you this in the HomePad software, but this is the method details for the timing you remember. Then what are the merits and demerits of this method. Now, the homeopathic materia medica or the science of homeopathy is more criticized by the materialistic school by saying that there is no effect of your medicine which can be demonstrated at the level of tissue, at the level of animal. So this book, if you study properly, it will help you to answer such type of criticism which is made on the homeopathy and on the homeopathic materia medica. So this physiological method of study of homeopathic materia medica is a good method of study of materia medica to prove that the homeopathic medicines even act at the level of tissue and produces certain changes in the physiology. And this books, if you study properly, one can also initiate the various researches at the animal level. In the very introductory part, I have told you that this is the basic difference between the homeopathic materia medica and all other materia medica of various science of medicine. That homeopathic materia medica do not proves the medicines or do not do experiments on the various animals. But if you read this physiological method of study of materia medica, you will get certain points where you can initiate your research at the level of animal level and come out with more and more new information of that drug in the animals. And then what the important demerit of this method? It's whatever information is given about the sphere of action, about the physiological action of the drug, it is more and more collected from the toxicology and the effects of crude drugs which are found accidentally. What is toxicology? It is a second year subject, I think, forensic medicine and toxicology. So you must have understood what is toxicology. It is science which deals with the study of toxins, and mostly these drugs effects are usually in the crude drugs. So whatever materia medica is described here, it is mainly related with that materia medica, which is known for its not dynamic approach. The materia medica collected from the crude effect of drug. So far, we have studied this physiological method introduced by, popularized by what is the method details. I will demonstrate in the software. And now we'll study the example. What is the example of this method? And the main stalwart of this method is William Burt, and he has written a book in the 18th century. Now remember, in the 18th century, in absence of all the modern gadgets, he has come out with a book on the physiological materia medica that speaks about greatness of our ancestors. And he has written a book which has very long name. Usually this name is only remembered, Physiological Materia Medica by William H. Burt. But I have told you long ago that you must write the complete name of this books of Materia Medica. And the complete name of this Physiological Materia Medica is there is a huge tale to this name, and tale is that Physiological Materia Medica containing all that is known of physiological action of our remedies together with their characteristic indications and pharmacology. Such a huge name. The name itself suggests what is given in this type of book of Materia Medica, that the physiological action of our remedies, and that too the physiological actions which are known from the various toxicology, and which are known from the accidental ingestion of the various crude drugs, and along with their characteristic indications and pharmacology. And one more example is the follower of this method is Robert Thomas Hooper, that is homeopathic medical directory. That was the name of the book written by this Robert Thomas Hooper. Now, after learning this details of the physiological method, I will demonstrate you this physiological materia medica from software homepage, and for that wait for 2 minutes. I will change the screen sharing. Okay, now screen share is now different. I have magnified the font size for you because most of you are listening to this Zoom meeting on the mobile. Now see, Arnica Montana, why I am specifying, because that will be my first drug which I am going to teach you. So this is the materia medica. Again, this materia medica is enlisted in this software only by this short name, characteristic materia medica by William H. Bird. But I have just taught you the full name of this book, Physiological Materia Medica, and containing all that known about the physiological action of our remedies, along with their characteristics and pharmacology, the actual name. Now, why I am showing you this, why I am sharing you this screen is because I want to show you the method details. What is the method details? Now, see, there is a after the name of book, there is the name of medicine, Arnica montanum, and the first heading appears is the sphere of action. You have understood what is sphere of action. Now, what is the sphere of action of Arnica montana according to this William Bird? That I will read it for you. Through the cerebrospinal system, it especially acts upon the muscular system, fascia, and tendons. So this is the one sphere of action. That means main sphere of action is that it acts on the cerebrospinal systems, and through that various nerve supplies of the cerebrospinal systems, it acts on the muscles, it acts on the fascias, and it also acts on the tendons. One more sphere of action is given on the capillary system of veins and the arteries. One more is given on the dermoid and cellular tissues and on the lymphatic system. The four sphere of action according to William Bird is muscle, fascia, tendons as a one. Another is capillary systems of veins and arteries, and another one is cellular tissues and lymphatic system. And then further there is a description. No remedy can equal arnica for those muscular pains which are so apt to occur wherever there are voluntary muscles or their tendinous prolongations. The trunk is more commonly attacked than the limbs, abdominal walls more than the thoracics, and the legs more commonly than arms. They are generally mistaken for the pains of neuralgia, hysteria, spinal irritation, indigestion, or disease of some internal organs. This is how initially the sphere of action is given, and it is further details are also given. What exactly on the muscle, what is the action of this arnica. Then I will read the action of arnica montana on the capillaries. So arnica affects more particularly the capillaries of secretion. Hence, it is useful in hemorrhages, perspiration, mucus fluxes, dropsical effusions. The capillaries are tubercular continuations of arteries and the commencement of the veins. This accounts for the great power of arnica to produce absorption in extravasations of blood, effusions of serum, such as occurs after falls and blows. So this is a very important keynote of arnica montana, that it is indicated for all those injuries after blood injuries, after falls, there is extravasation of blood. Arnica is a good drug to reverse or to absorb that extravasation of blood. And this information is again highlighted in this physiological materia medica. So remember the system details. Initially, sphere of action is explained, sphere of action is given in the details, and then comes the characteristic symptom. And these characteristic symptoms are then collected from various authors. And this is and the references are mentioned. So I will read for you. The true sphere of arnica is in painful conditions of the cutis vera and subcutaneous cellular tissue, whether traumatic or idiopathic, and its leading characteristic is inflammation of the skin and cellular tissue with extreme tenderness or painfulness upon the pressure. So this characteristic is given by T.E.J. Fraser, MD. And then characteristics are given. This is one more characteristic is collected from a contemporary Rao, Dr. Rao, and he says that it is above. From Raw says that it is a very good drug for bad effects from confusion of brain. Then Dr. Jar says that it is swelling of the cheek with throbbing and twitching pains, swollen lips, and heat in the head. This is how the medicines are described. Remember, the details are different. The description style of a materia medica is altogether different from anatomical schematic method.